Subscribe now and hit the bell for political destruction. This one question about a Trump family secret triggered one of the most explosive meltdowns in live television history. What happened next will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about the Trump families, but first, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because this systematic exposure of political marriage manipulation is about to change how you view powerful families forever. Obama asked the question about Ivanka and Jared's marriage that even Trump couldn't handle, and the reaction was unforgettable. Asterisk, the lights of the massive auditorium blazed down. Blinding yet electrifying, every seat was filled, and millions more watched live on screens at home. A tense hush fell over the crowd. Cameras focused on the stage, capturing every heartbeat, every flicker of anticipation. Asterisk, Barack Obama stepped forward, calm, measured, eyes scanning the audience before settling on Ivanka Trump. Her posture was impeccable, but the faintest tension lingered in her jaw. Jared Kushner leaned subtly toward her, his hand resting lightly on her arm in silent support. Asterisk, Donald Trump strode onto the stage. Confidence radiating, yet tonight, there was a slight hesitancy. Even his trademark smirk didn't fully mask the awareness that the spotlight now included his family's personal choices. Asterisk, Obama's voice cut through the stillness. Deliberate, deliberate. Asterisk, Ivanka, your marriage, both personal and political, has been the subject of intense scrutiny. How do you reconcile these decisions with the responsibilities your role demands? Asterisk, the room seemed to exhale. Ivanka paused, letting the gravity of the question settle, then spoke with controlled clarity. Asterisk, I make my choices thoughtfully, guided by principle. My aim is to serve both my family and the public responsibly, and I stand by those decisions. Asterisk, Trump's protective instinct surfaced. His tone firm. Asterisk, as her father, I can assure you she has acted with integrity and care. This isn't personal, it's politics. Obama's gaze sharpened, voice calm but piercing. Every choice in the public eye carries weight beyond the individual. Are you ready to accept that responsibility? Asterisk, a ripple ran through the audience. Cameras captured reactions, some wide-eyed in surprise, others whispering in tension. Home viewers leaned forward, hearts pounding. Asterisk, Ivanka met her father's eyes briefly, then returned her gaze to Obama, steady and resolute. Asterisk, I understand scrutiny comes with visibility, but my commitment remains to principle and responsibility. Asterisk, Trump softened. A mix of pride and caution in his voice. Asterisk, these are family matters. Ivanka has always acted with integrity, and I support her fully. Asterisk, Obama allowed a silent pause, letting the room feel the weight of his words. Every face, every reaction, every pause set the stage for the drama that was about to unfold. This wasn't just a question, it was the spark that would ignite a storm. Asterisk, the room remained frozen, the air thick with tension. Trump tried a casual smile, attempting to lighten the mood, but it landed awkwardly. Every gesture, every word, was under the microscope. Audience members whispered, exchanging glances, sensing that this was more than a debate, it was a test of integrity, principle, and family loyalty. Asterisk, Ivanka's eyes never left Obama. She drew a steadying breath, feeling Jared's quiet support beside her. The weight of expectation was palpable. Millions of viewers at home leaned forward, their faces illuminated by screens, as if they could feel the tension in their own living rooms. For immigrant families, students, and young professionals, this was a moment that reflected struggles they knew intimately. Balancing personal choices with the judgment of the public, navigating responsibility under constant scrutiny. Asterisk, social media erupted. Tweets appeared instantly. Hashtags trended, short video clips were shared, and opinions flooded timelines. Every pause, every subtle reaction, was dissected, debated, and speculated upon. The question wasn't simply about one marriage, it was about accountability, visibility, and the courage to stand firm in the eye of judgment. Asterisk, Trump leaned forward, his voice a mixture of pride and urgency. Asterisk, Ivanka has always acted responsibly. These questions are blown out of proportion. She's made choices anyone would admire. Obama's calm, measured tone cut through the tension when personal and public lives intersect. Your decisions impact more than yourself. Millions are watching. Are you prepared to face the consequences? Ivanka responded firmly, a subtle fire in her eyes. My decisions are guided by principle, not popularity. I am committed to balancing family responsibility with public duty, and I do so thoughtfully. Trump interjected again, protective, almost pleading. Every parent wants to shield their child from attacks. Ivanka's choices are deliberate and responsible. This isn't scandal. This is politics, and she's handled it with integrity. Asterisk cameras captured the murmurs spreading through the auditorium. Faces of the audience reflected awe, surprise, and admiration. The crowd leaned in with each measured word, feeling the tension escalate. Home viewers could almost hear the silence between sentences, as if the nation collectively held its breath. Asterisk, Jared's subtle nod reassured Ivanka, reminding her she wasn't alone. The stakes weren't just personal, they were symbolic. Leadership, public responsibility, and private loyalty collided in this single moment. The dialogue had transcended politics. It had become a mirror of societal pressures, family bonds, and the courage it takes to hold one's ground under relentless scrutiny. Asterisk, the tension in the room thickened. Every eye, every camera, every heartbeat seemed synchronized. And then Obama's eyes narrowed slightly, his voice soft, but unyielding. Asterisk, this scrutiny will not just test your choices. It will reveal the strength of your character. Are you prepared for that revelation? Asterisk, a collective shiver ran through the audience. The moment had shifted from a question to a defining test, and every viewer, in the auditorium and at home, instinctively knew they were witnessing history in the making. Asterisk. Donald Trump's presence had always commanded attention. Every room he entered seemed to respond to his ego, his energy, and his reputation. Yet tonight, on this stage, that confidence faced a subtle crack, a vulnerability that few had ever witnessed. He had built his empire on audacity, spectacle, and the unwavering belief that control meant power. But for the first time in a public forum, even the smallest hesitation could be magnified under the weight of national scrutiny. Asterisk, Trump's rise had been forged in the glare of the spotlight. He had learned early that attention was currency, and controversy was leverage. Every bold claim, every sharp insult, every calculated display of arrogance was designed to dominate conversation and bend perception. Critics had tried to dismantle him, yet he always emerged stronger, more formidable. His persona larger than life. Yet the battle on this stage was different. Here, his daughter's choices and integrity were the focal point, and no amount of showmanship could shield him completely. Asterisk, behind the bluster, a complex mix of pride and anxiety churned. Trump was not only a father, he was a protector, a man accustomed to defending his family in public arenas. Every word he had prepared now competed with instinct. Should he speak first? Should he allow Ivanka to answer? Could he maintain his authority without overshadowing her, yet still protect her in the court of public opinion? Asterisk, his advisors whispered quickly, suggesting deflection, humor, or redirection. But the live cameras and the millions watching left little room for maneuvering. Any misstep would be analyzed, dissected, and replayed endlessly. Social media would explode with clips, memes, and opinions, amplifying any error into a national debate. Even Trump, with decades of experience, could feel the stakes pressing harder than ever. Asterisk, Trump's past had been a series of calculated risks. He had perfected the art of spectacle, learnt the rhythms of public attention, and mastered the persona that could turn criticism into fuel. But this moment was not about him, it was about Ivanka, and through her, the perception of leadership, character, and family integrity. Every tactic that had worked in the boardroom or on reality TV seemed fragile against the moral weight of this confrontation. Asterisk, his mind flickered to Ivanka's history, her education, her achievements. She had consistently demonstrated poise and intelligence, traits that drew both admiration and scrutiny. He realized that defending her required more than ego. It demanded genuine respect, careful language, and the delicate balance of fatherly pride and public accountability. Trump's own vulnerabilities came to the surface. For years, he had relied on forceful rhetoric and theatrical bravado to maintain control. Yet now, the spotlight exposed a different dimension: the tension between parental instinct and public expectation, between personal loyalty and national judgment. He could feel the auditorium's energy, the anticipation of cameras, the millions of eyes on screens across the country, and the weight of legacy pressing down. And then there was Obama.com, deliberate, piercing in his questioning. Every pause, every look, every carefully measured word made the challenge tangible. Trump was accustomed to confrontation, yet the combination of intellect, composure, and moral authority in Obama's demeanor created a pressure unlike any other. This was not a clash of rhetoric. It was a test of character, timing, and judgment. Trump's empire had thrived on audacity. But tonight, the personal and political converged. His daughter's integrity, his own reputation, and the public's gaze intertwined in a delicate dance of influence and perception. For the first time, he realized that true power might not be in domination or spectacle, but in restraint, empathy, and protecting what mattered most without sacrificing credibility. Every viewer in the auditorium and at home could feel the tension. Trump's pride and anxiety were palpable. The stakes were not just political, but profoundly human, and in that charged silence, it became clear: the true battle was not merely on the stage, it was within him. A father confronting the delicate balance between loyalty, love, and public responsibility. Barack Obama had walked many stages, faced countless questions, and weathered storms of public scrutiny. Yet tonight's confrontation demanded more than eloquence. It required insight, empathy, and the steady courage to illuminate truth without spectacle. The weight of his presence was felt in every corner of the auditorium, every screen at home, and every whisper in the minds of those watching. He remembered his own upbringing. The lessons instilled by parents who had sacrificed quietly, whose integrity never demanded applause. Their hard work, their dedication, their unyielding commitment to principles shaped a man who had learned early that true strength was not in dominance, but in measured action, patience, and unwavering moral clarity. This foundation was now the armor he wore on the stage. A shield against theatrics, a beacon in the storm of political bravado. For Obama, the challenge was multifaceted. It was not simply a question of eliciting answers, it was a test of character, a mirror reflecting the public's yearning for honesty, dignity, and courage. He saw Ivanka not merely as a political figure, but as a human being, navigating the same tension between personal choice and public responsibility that countless Americans faced. Jared's quiet support, the visible care between them, was a reminder that leadership and humanity could coexist. At home. Viewers from immigrant families, students, and young professionals watched closely. They recognized the struggle of balancing ambition with scrutiny, of making decisions under constant observation. For them, Obama's calm authority was not abstract. It was validating, a representation of what integrity could look like when pressure and attention threatened to consume everything. He thought about the stakes beyond the immediate confrontation. Every word, every pause, every nuance could ripple through the nation. Millions were not just watching a televised moment, they were witnessing a demonstration of leadership, accountability, and emotional intelligence. The tension was amplified by the knowledge that Trump, with decades of experience commanding attention and deflecting criticism, was a master of spectacle. Yet even his bravado had limits, and tonight, those limits were being tested in real time. Obama's focus was not on crushing an opponent, but on revealing clarity. The questions were designed to cut through pretense, to challenge narratives, and to allow Ivanka to speak with authenticity. He understood that real leadership was not measured by volume or theatrics, but by restraint, precision, and the courage to let truth stand unadorned. He recalled the countless moments of preparation that had led to this stage, The strategic thinking, the anticipation of reactions, the careful study of human behavior. Yet preparation alone could not replace empathy. The ability to sense the fears, pride, and resolve of those in front of him. It was this combination that allowed him to hold the room, command attention without raising his voice, and guide the conversation towards substance rather than spectacle. Asterisk, as he observed Ivanka and Jared, he sensed their anxiety and determination. Every glance, every subtle gesture, spoke volumes. The audience and viewers at home could feel the weight of the moment. A convergence of family, politics, integrity, and public accountability. Obama's calm presence anchored the unfolding drama, reminding everyone that courage was not always loud, that dignity could withstand pressure, and that truth, when spoken with care, could command the room more effectively than any outburst or display. Asterisk tonight, the stage was more than a platform. It was a proving ground for character, a testament to the endurance of principle under scrutiny, and a mirror reflecting the hopes and struggles of millions, who saw themselves in the quiet strength of those who choose to rise above the noise. Asterisk. Asterisk, the tension in the auditorium had reached a palpable peak. Every camera shutter, every whisper, every subtle shift in posture amplified the intensity. Trump leaned forward, attempting to reclaim control with humor and gestures. But the impact of Obama's probing questions and Ivanka's composed responses made his usual tactics seem inadequate. Asterisk, let's be honest, Trump began, a forced chuckle in his voice. Ivanka has always made smart choices. This is being blown out of proportion. Asterisk, the audience's reaction was mixed. Some nodded, others murmured, sensing the cracks beneath his bravado. Home viewers were glued to their screens, reading every facial expression, feeling the subtle shifts in authority and control. This wasn't merely a family discussion, it was a spectacle that exposed the collision of ego, principle, and public responsibility. Asterisk, Ivanka's voice cut through the murmur, calm but resolute. Asterisk, my decisions are guided by principle, responsibility, and the public interest. I will not be swayed by theatrics or fear. Asterisk, Jared Kushner subtly placed his hand near hers, a grounding presence. Together, they projected quiet confidence against the mounting intensity of the confrontation. The audience leaned forward, caught in a rhythm of anticipation, waiting for the next word, the next reaction, the next emotional beat. Asterisk, Trump's face tightened slightly, his usual ease replaced by a visible tension. He attempted to interject again. Asterisk, as a father, I can tell you she's done everything with integrity. The narrative you're pushing doesn't reflect reality. Obama's measured tone cut through the rising tempo. Integrity is shown not only in choices made, but in the willingness to face scrutiny. Millions are watching, and this is a test of character. Asterisk, the crowd's silence was deafening. Every eye followed the interplay of expressions. Ivanka's determination, Jared's quiet support, Trump's struggle to assert authority, and Obama's calm commanding presence. Social media feeds erupted with live commentary, hashtags trending instantly, clips circulated, sparking debate, admiration, and analysis. Every viewer felt the stakes pressing upon them. This wasn't theater. It was a mirror reflecting real-life tensions between personal loyalty and public accountability. Asterisk, Ivanka responded again, steady, her voice unwavering. Asterisk, I acknowledge, scrutiny comes with visibility, but my commitment to principle and responsibility remains unchanged. I stand by my choices. Asterisk, Trump's protective instinct surged, but this time paired with caution. He softened, attempting measured reassurance. Asterisk, these are family decisions. Ivanka has acted thoughtfully and responsibly, and I support her fully. Asterisk, Obama paused, letting the silence emphasize the weight of the moment. The room seemed to hold its collective breath. Every subtle gesture, every flicker of eye contact, amplified the drama. Home viewers instinctively leaned closer, caught in a rhythm of anticipation and empathy. Asterisk, for a fleeting moment, it felt as though time itself had slowed. The stage was no longer just a platform for debate, it had become a crucible of character, loyalty, and public responsibility. Every participant understood that their next words would shape perception, influence discourse, and leave an indelible mark on the audience, both in the room and at home. As tension swelled, the audience sensed that the pivotal moment, the one that could shift authority, reveal courage, and ignite national discussion, was imminent. The stakes were clear. This was more than words. This was a battle of principle, power, and integrity. And the resolution was about to unfold before millions of eyes. The auditorium seemed to hold its breath. Every eye was fixed on the stage, every camera capturing the tension like a slow-burning storm. Trump's confident smirk was fading, replaced by a subtle unease he rarely showed. Obama's calm, unwavering gaze met Ivanka's for a moment, acknowledging her strength, then returned to Trump with measured intensity. This isn't about attacks or theatrics, Obama began, his voice low, deliberate, resonating in the silent hall. It's about understanding choices, responsibility, and accountability. Trump opened his mouth, perhaps to interject, but Obama's words created a pause too significant to interrupt. Even Ivanka felt the weight, standing poised, but sensing that the moment demanded more than rehearsed responses. Obama leaned slightly forward, eyes scanning the audience, then spoke directly to the heart of the matter. Years ago, there was a decision, not public, not celebrated, but defining. A choice made in the quiet of responsibility, when personal loyalty and public scrutiny collided. It shaped the way leadership, integrity, and courage are understood. He paused, letting every word sink in. The audience shivered. Home viewers leaned closer to their screens. This was no longer just a debate. It had become a story, a revelation, a mirror reflecting the pressure of decisions under watchful eyes. Trump's defensive instinct surged. This is about family. Ivanka's integrity is clear. You can't twist this. Obama held up a hand, his tone gentle but firm. I am not twisting. I am recalling a moment that illuminates character. Ivanka stepped forward slightly, her voice steady, controlled, yet resonant with emotion. I have always faced scrutiny, both personally and publicly. I have made choices grounded in principle, but the truth is, leadership often requires confronting uncomfortable questions. Trump shifted, attempting to assert control, yet each word seemed less commanding, overshadowed by the gravity of Obama's recounting. Obama's voice softened, almost storytelling in cadence. Imagine a winter storm, a community in crisis, a moment when responsibility outweighed convenience. Decisions had to be made, choices that were unseen, uncelebrated, yet defined the measure of character. Actions taken then echo through time, revealing courage where it matters most. The room was silent. Cameras captured faces frozen in awe, shock, and reflection. Home viewers' hearts raced. Every word, pause, and glance intensified the drama. Social media feeds exploded with reactions. Clips shared instantaneously, debates ignited. Admiration pouring in for the calm authority on stage. Ivanka, emboldened, added, I have learned that facing challenges with integrity, even when under scrutiny, defines not just a person, but the people we lead. Every decision carries weight beyond ourselves. Trump's usual theatrics faltered. His protective instincts for his daughter wrestled with the undeniable force of truth being shared. Even his advisors seemed frozen. Realizing that performance alone could not counter the depth of what had been revealed, Obama's final words landed like a quiet hammer. You are all part of a story that demanded integrity and courage. The choices you've made in private and public define the future, not the spectacle. And Ivanka Jared, you have shown that strength resides not in avoiding scrutiny, but in meeting it with honesty. A collective exhale filled the room. The audience erupted into applause, yet it was the applause of respect, awe, and recognition, not mere approval. Trump's expression shifted, a mixture of pride, shock, and reluctant admiration. Ivanka and Jared shared a glance, a quiet acknowledgement of their perseverance under the brightest spotlight, In that instant, it became clear the real victory was not one of dominance or humiliation, but of truth, integrity, and courage. The aftershocks of this moment would ripple far beyond the walls of the auditorium, leaving a mark on every viewer, every conversation, and every debate to follow. The stage was no longer a platform for confrontation. It had become a testament to principle. A reminder that strength lies in facing scrutiny with dignity, and a lesson that leadership is measured not by theatrics, but by courage and integrity in the moments that truly matter. The moment had passed, but its impact was far from over. The auditorium buzzed with energy, applause, whispers, and stunned silence mingled in the air. Every viewer in the room seemed aware they had witnessed something extraordinary. Cameras panned across faces, capturing the mixture of shock, admiration, and reflection. Home audiences replayed clips, paused, and shared them instantly. The story had spread like wildfire. Every nuance dissected and celebrated. Immigrant families across the nation felt seen in ways they rarely did. They saw courage under pressure, integrity in action, and the possibility that truth could triumph over spectacle. Students, young professionals, and viewers of all ages leaned closer to their screens, hearts pounding, realizing that the quiet strength displayed on stage mirrored the resilience they themselves had cultivated in daily life. Trump's advisors scrambled, whispering urgently. Supporters shifted uncomfortably, aware that their leader had been outmaneuvered not through insult, but through precision, empathy, and moral authority. Trump himself sat in a rare moment of reflection, analyzing each exchange, recognizing that the public had witnessed not just a confrontation, but a lesson in dignity, responsibility, and courage. Ivanka and Jared moved through the crowd, their composure intact, but their minds racing. They had faced scrutiny countless times, yet this had been different. They had endured the intensity of both personal and public judgment, and now the response, the applause, the respect, the recognition confirmed the weight of their choices. They had met challenge with honesty and poise, and the world had noticed. Social media amplified every detail. Clips of Obama's piercing question, Ivanka's measured response, and the interplay between Trump's protective instincts and public restraint became viral moments. Hashtags trended globally. Analysts debated the implications for politics, leadership, and family dynamics. Memes emerged, but even they carried irreverence, acknowledging the profound tension and resolution displayed. In quiet corners, communities discussed the deeper lessons. Schools replayed clips for civics lessons. Immigrant organizations highlighted the significance of integrity under scrutiny, and online forums dissected the nuances of accountability, principle, and courage. This was more than entertainment. It had become a national conversation about leadership, family, and public responsibility. Trump's personal reflection revealed a rare vulnerability. In private, he questioned not just the event, but his approach to public leadership, family protection, and the weight of expectation. Advisors noticed him pausing, considering, weighing the balance between spectacle and substance in ways he rarely had before. Even his charisma, honed over decades, had been tested against measured courage and moral authority. The real triumph, however, belonged to Obama, Ivanka, and Jared. They had navigated the storm with composure and strength, demonstrating that leadership was not about volume or dominance, but about clarity, integrity, and the courage to face scrutiny with dignity. Audiences everywhere internalized the moment, drawing inspiration and validation from a story that reflected their own struggles, hopes, and values. And as the lights dimmed in the auditorium, and cameras captured the final frames of the exchange, it became clear that this confrontation would echo far beyond a single stage. It would influence discourse, shape perceptions, and remind the nation and the world that true power resides not in theatrics, but in courage, principle, and unwavering integrity. As the auditorium began to settle, A hush of reflection replaced the earlier tension. Every viewer, both in the room and at home, carried the weight of the moment. Obama's calm authority, Ivanka's measured responses, Jared's quiet support, and Trump's rare vulnerability had created a tableau of leadership, integrity, and family responsibility that resonated far beyond the stage. Obama stepped forward once more. His voice steady and deliberate, yet infused with warmth. Tonight was not about triumph or humiliation. It was about understanding that every choice, every action, carries consequence. Leadership is not loud. It is not spectacle. It is courage, integrity, and accountability, even when no one is watching, and especially when everyone is. The audience leaned in, captivated. Home viewers felt their hearts tighten with recognition. For immigrants, young professionals, students, and everyday citizens. These words were more than rhetoric, they were validation. They had witnessed a demonstration of how to rise above scrutiny, maintain dignity under pressure, and face difficult questions with clarity and principle. Ivanka took a moment to reflect publicly. Her voice was calm but resolute. Scrutiny is part of life, especially in the public eye. But integrity, principle, and courage guide the decisions we make. Facing questions honestly does not weaken us. It strengthens us, and we must always hold ourselves accountable, no matter how difficult the moment. Jared's quiet presence beside her reinforced the message. Leadership was a shared responsibility, guided by mutual support, moral clarity, and courage. The audience understood that this moment transcended politics. It was a lesson in human resilience and principled action. Trump, in a rare moment of humility, acknowledged the depth of the exchange. His tone softened, protective instincts tempered by reflection. Family is everything. Protecting them is natural. But tonight reminded me that true strength is measured not by deflection, but by honesty, integrity, and the ability to face scrutiny with dignity. The interplay of voices, perspectives, and values created a mosaic of leadership principles. The audience, captivated and reflective, realized they had witnessed more than a debate. They had witnessed a living example of accountability, courage, and principle under pressure, a mirror for their own lives, their own choices, and their own challenges. Every whisper, every applause, every silent nod from the crowd reinforced the lesson. Dignity outlasts spectacle. Courage transcends ego. Integrity commands respect. Leadership is not a performance. It is a quiet commitment to principle, responsibility, and honesty, even when the stakes are immense. As the lights dimmed, and the cameras captured the final expressions on every face. The truth was undeniable. The story would linger far beyond this evening. It would ripple through homes, offices, schools, and communities. It would inspire conversations about family, leadership, courage, and principle. And it would remind everyone watching that the most powerful actions often arise not from dominance, but from measured, deliberate, and courageous choices. The auditorium, now quiet but charged with resonance, stood as a testament to the power of integrity and the enduring impact of principled action. And in every home watching, a shared understanding emerged. Moments like this define not just leaders, but society itself, shaping expectations, inspiring hope, and reminding the world what true leadership should look like. The stage was empty now, but the echoes of courage, integrity, and principle lingered in the air. The audience, both in the auditorium and at home, sat in reflective silence, absorbing the weight of what had unfolded. They had witnessed a confrontation that transcended politics, a story that revealed the power of honesty, accountability, and measured courage. Obama's presence, Ivanka's poise, Jared's quiet strength, and even Trump's rare vulnerability had created a narrative that would be remembered long after the cameras were turned off. It was more than a debate. It was a masterclass in leadership, a reminder that true strength is not measured by theatrics or volume, but by integrity, principle, and the ability to rise above pressure. For viewers at home, The lesson was clear: dignity triumphs over humiliation, courage over fear, and truth over spectacle. Every immigrant, every underdog, every person who had ever faced scrutiny or judgment could see themselves reflected in this moment. This was a story that validated identity, celebrated resilience, and inspired action. And now, you, the viewer, have a choice. Carry this lesson forward. Stand tall in the face of challenge. Defend what is right. Lead with integrity, even when the world is watching. And if you want more stories that inspire, more moments that reveal courage under pressure, more insights that empower and uplift, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Because here, we celebrate leadership that matters, courage that inspires, and stories that remind us all of the power of principle. Stay proud, stay strong, and let every choice you make reflect the integrity and dignity that define who you are. The world is watching, and so are we.